What up, Redshirts listeners, or in this case, viewers? It is Matt Okada. I am here with a rookie report, and we are talking Brandon Aiyuk, wide receiver out of Arizona State. Not necessarily one of your name brand CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy type guys, but a guy that I think has potential, and we will get into why. So, first of all, one of the reasons you don't know him is that he spent his first 2 years playing college ball at a JUCO, junior college, Sierra College to be exact. Some academic stuff didn't get him landed at a top school coming out of high school, where he played very well, but showed out very well in his first 2 years at Sierra College. Ended up getting him a position at Arizona State, where as a junior he played behind N'Keal Harry. Didn't have an incredible season, but as a senior last year had 65 catches, almost 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, and was a beast in the return game, which is something we'll get into in a little bit that I like a lot. 710 yards after the catch last year, fifth among wide receivers in the FBS. 378 yards after contact on receptions last year, second in the entire FBS. What are you hearing from this? I'll tell you what you're hearing, that he is a run after the catch monstrosity. So, what do I see on tape? That. Brandon Aiyuk, if you get him the ball, is going to make things happen. He is fast and sneaky fast, I think, even compared to his combine time, which was a 4.50. Now, that's 0.01 seconds off of being a 4.4 time, technically. So he clearly does test fast, but I think his play speed is even a little bit faster than that. His ability to take a ball thrown underneath a slant or a quick in route and turn it upfield in the blink of an eye and be 20 yards down the field is honestly very, very impressive, and I think probably his biggest trait. And then when he gets the ball and he is headed downfield, he is a nightmare. Slippery, physical, fast, competitive toughness, finishes runs hard. He played running back earlier in his football career. It shows up. He is willing to get those extra yards through any means necessary, whether it's going around a guy, running past them, or just running them over if he has to, and he's capable of doing it. So a lot of the run after the catch ability is what makes Brandon Aiyuk special. However, he's got other strengths. I think he's very twitchy and quick in the short area, which means he can get open underneath very quickly, makes him ideal for hitting on those slant type routes, and makes him an ideal receiver to put in the slot. I think that's actually pretty big to what we see from Brandon Aiyuk at the NFL level, is if the team is willing to put him in the slot. And one of the main reasons is his main weakness, which we'll get to in a second. But just a couple other strengths: good ball tracking, good soft hands down the field, very capable of high pointing the ball. He had a 40-inch vertical at the combine, 80-inch wingspan, which for his height, which is only 5'11 and a half, is extra large. He's got AJ Green type arms and is able to high point the ball and pluck it out very, very well. Contested catchability loses a little bit because of the lack of physicality. So I mean, not necessarily calling him like a great necessarily red zone option, but on the boundaries, downfield, when he needs to go up and get the ball, he's very capable of doing it with smooth hands. Now on the weaknesses side, besides the physicality on the contested catches, his main weakness is physicality at the line of scrimmage. If he is facing press coverage, it is hard for him to get off of that immediately off the line and off the snap, because he does not have great hand fighting ability. His technique against press coverage is not great. And a good DB who is pressing him hard is going to cause lots of problems. Now, the nice thing is there's an easy way to work around that, and it's called putting your wide receiver into the slot. So where he goes in the draft, and whether the team that drafts him is willing to put him in the slot and able to put him in the slot out of the gate, is going to probably play a large part in where he goes in rookie drafts, in my opinion, or where he should go. So we will see on that front. A couple of the weaknesses: a little bit of a limited route tree, a lot of in-breaking stuff, and the deep balls type stuff, big play stuff, like I mentioned, 9 routes and whatnot, but a little bit less of a nuanced route runner. Not going to see him winning a lot on comebacks and curls or out routes. Does have a good double move to beat guys deep, but a lot of the more nuanced stuff underneath, like a Stephon Diggs you might see do, you're not necessarily going to see him winning that way. He's going to win with athletic ability more than he's going to win with shifty route running. But he is quick out of his breaks, especially on those underneath routes, so he is still able to get open, especially if he's got that space that I talked about. As far as where he goes in the draft and what it means for fantasy, a lot of drafts projections have him going somewhere in the top 50, mid to early second round pick potentially, some even in the first round. I have seen multiple mocks that have him going to the Saints in the first round, and oh my goodness, that would be perfect. Let's go. Get him to the Saints, get him to a coach who's creative, who will get him the ball in creative ways, and Sean Payton, a quarterback who's very, very, very good, accurate, and can throw all the balls underneath that Brandon needs, and they can then take to the house. Would be great for their offense, would be great for him. I would love to see him go to the Saints. Also wouldn't mind seeing him go to the Eagles. That's a place I think he could thrive. But there are a couple other places as well. But that will be important to his fantasy value. So monitor where he goes. Check with me, at me on Twitter, and we'll see what we think. I comp him a little bit to the Samuels, Curtis Samuel and Deebo Samuel, guys who you want to get the ball into their hands in creative ways, and who can then do a lot with the ball after the catch. If he goes to a place like that is willing to use him like they have been used, especially what we saw from Deebo Samuel last year and how successful that was, I think that's huge for his fantasy value. I would love to see that. If he goes to the right place, I think Brandon Aiyuk could sneak into the first round of your rookie drafts. But regardless, he's probably a mid to high second round pick, and I think you'll get a lot of value out of that, especially if you're a rebuilding team who's willing to, have a couple years down the line, have your receiver breakout. That is what I probably expect from Brandon Aiyuk. And when he does, it could be into the wide receiver 2 territory, and it could be very nice for your dynasty team. So check him out, Brandon Aiyuk. We'll see where he goes, and then we'll see where we want to draft him. But thanks for watching.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast. Hit us up on Twitter at RedShirtsFFPod and check out our website, redshirtsfantasyfootball.com.